public. Do that real quick. Oh, I can't do that. Maybe I'll do it over here. Yeah, I would have had this all set up, but I got in at like 7:20. Had to eat dinner. I'm surprised, Ben, you went to go see it. I'm real proud of you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's just. You had to go and say to keep his opinion to himself until we do the show.
I know.
Y'all want an interesting show, right? So, I mean,
And now he's just milking it.
I'm only doing the right thing versus yapping my mouth off like I usually do.
God damn it! What am I?
Still, I'm anxious.
I know, me too.
Oh, total diva zaps. I love you.
How does the lav mic sound to you guys?
It sounds.
Oh, is that what you're using?
Yeah.
I didn't know actually. It sounds good.
I can notice on the Audacity recording, so I might lose some. Like my other mic probably lost sound quality during the calls, but I can notice it. It's not terrible. It's all right. All right.
Where is it connected?
It's on my hoodie right now, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's on the side here. Let me scrape it so you can hear that.
Yep, I heard that.
Yeah.
It's not bad though. I expected a lot more like room noise and stuff because I've got a lap mic, and it's not great.
I actually get way more room noise on the other microphone.
Yeah, and the new house, when I actually get like a studio set up with like proper sound dampening and stuff, I might go back to a lav mic to see if it sounds better.
I just couldn't deal with the thing being in the way. Like it just, like it blocked off my second screen. Like what was the point? And it couldn't even reach to like the center. It would only reach over to the side.
That's why I've got my overhead arm.
I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna share the link out on Twitter. I'm not gonna try and make this live, like actual. It's too much work right now. I don't want to keep you guys waiting.
Fine. I was supposed to be building a computer tonight, but the case didn't show up. So.
Spider-Man into the spider. Okay. Alright, I tweeted it. You guys ready?
Gonna retweet that fool.
Okay. See if we get some people in here. Oh man. Alright. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
I love how nonchalant he's like, yeah, whatever, let's get on with. Hello everyone, welcome to the Charged Shot Reviews, or Charged Reviews actually. Today I have with me Justin.
Twip.
And today I have with me the man who hates Spider-Verse, Ben.
Oh, if we're framing it like that, I don't want to do this right now, then. Like, if we're gonna frame it like, that's fine.
No,
okay.
I just want.
I'll just shit on it then. Fine, let's go.
No,
I can shit on this movie.
Don't.
It was just a little backstory I just wanted to introduce was that me and Justin we watched the movie. We're like, man, this thing's awesome. Ben, you should go watch it. It's like a love letter to Spider-Man. And he's like,
it's my new favorite movie. I can confirm.
Yeah, it might be my new favorite too. Yeah, we kept harassing Ben until he finally went to go see it.
All because, well, to give context, when the first trailer debuted, while everybody in the world, and rightfully so, was getting their minds blown out by how it looked. I was critical of how the models looked. I wasn't sure about it.
The choppy animation.
Yeah, it just didn't gel with me. So like my excitement level was pretty much non-existent. I'm just like, and then I heard Spider-Verse. I'm like, oh, that seems a bit too much. So
plus you hate Miles.
I do not hate Miles. I read his comics. I've read his series for almost 60 issues. I can't hate a character. I'm not the kind of person to read a character for that long if I don't like him. So I do like Miles, but I just thought there's something about it just didn't click with me, and I'm sorry that I wasn't as amped up for this one. But let's just go ahead and talk about the damn movie, shall we?
All right.
Yeah. Start spoiler free.
Yeah, we'll start spoiler free, and I just want everyone to give their takes on it. I think it's probably a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10 for me. Yeah, I just love the hell out of it. Like, I love all the characters, all the voice actors. I thought the animation was going to be wrong. Like, I was with Ben on that with the trailer. Didn't really care for the animation, but seeing it in motion and seeing like the way the movie played out, like I started to fall in love with it. How about you, Justin?
Yeah, I will say I saw it for a second time on Sunday. Man, I'm just nailing all these S's with a pained mouth.
I'm sorry.
And we saw it in 3D for the second time because I was watching the first time, and about halfway through, like it got really colorful and kind of crazy. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I wanted to see this in 3D, so I had to go see it again with my brother. And he wasn't like he likes Spider-Man, but he's not like a huge fan or anything. So he's like, if you could vouch for this movie, I'll go see it with you. And so we went and saw it in 3D. It was incredible. Like, you saying things that were kind of weird with the art style. This movie is a movie that was made to be seen in 3D. Like, I'm going to put that out there. If you've seen it or if you're interested in it, see it in 3D. It's incredible. And so yeah, we got out and he was like, all right, yeah, like that, you win. that was incredible. I was like, see, I told you. But my thoughts were that it's perfect. It's not a perfect movie, but it's exactly what I wanted it to be. It's everything that Spider-Man Homecoming was not. Because it had the stuff where, you know, he's not in costume, the kind of setting up the character, showing him in school, all that stuff. But it's also a full-on Spider-Man movie. Like, it is the epitome of a Spider-Man movie. Yeah, there's other Spider characters in it and stuff like that, but it's Miles's Spider-Man movie. It's his origin. It's all like I mentioned early on in the trailers. You know, you guys were talking about the art style and everything. I loved that from the get-go, but I was worried. I was like, we finally get a Miles Morales movie, and they throw Peter in there still, and they put all these other, like, they're not going to do service to Miles. They did service to Miles.
Yeah, this is a Miles Morales movie, like through and through.
That happens to have other characters in it because the reason I like it so much is because they need those characters to kind of tell his story. Like, there's one point. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's one point when all of them are kind of giving him a little pep talk. And they're basically saying, like, you know, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me.
Oh, yeah,
it's like, we're the only ones that can understand what you're going through right now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, that's true. It's like it takes another Spider-Man to really, like, tell you what it's like to be Spider-Man. And so I think they use that to really good, in a really good way. And then there were multiple times that I cried in the movie, I'll admit. I love my boy Miles. And it just made me happy to see him. But the first one was the Stan Lee cameo. Again, not a spoiler to say that it's, you know, it's his first, like, posthumous cameo, and it's a good one. And then there was a moment where I was just, like, crying from laughter, which was, you know, it's always a good sign when you're kind of running the gamut of emotions. And then toward the end, Miles finally kind of gets his hero moment. Which I'll get into more later. And I was just sitting there, and I was just like just kind of in my own little ball. I'm like, this is perfect. Like, this is everything I wanted this moment to be. It just makes me really happy as a fan. And so, like, the first time I saw it, like, it, you know, went to credits, and I just kind of, like, rested my head on Brooke's shoulder. And she's like, are you okay? I was like, yeah. I'm really happy. So yeah, like, to me, it's a 10. Like, there's things that are not, like, the things I would have, like, done differently in it, but it's everything I want in the Spider-Man movie, and I'm just really happy we got it. So
cool.
Anyway, Ben.
Yeah, Ben. So tell us, we've been waiting with bated breath all day. What did you think?
Well, how do I put this delicately where it my opinions are you know, not seen as anything but true. But I'm gonna use two words that's gonna describe my experience of watching this movie, and they may shock you and they may not if you know me. But the two words I'm gonna associate with this movie are religious experience.
Thank you.
This
time.
This was like, I cried like Justin did. But like, especially the end monologue, which I won't say just for spoiler reasons, but like, and we'll get into spoilers, but basically what the theme of the movie is and what the theme represents and what Miles represents, what Spider-Man represents. And as a person who, like me, and I'm not the only one, Justin, I know love Spider, and millions of people love Spider-Man. Yeah. But the idea of what this movie really goes into in a way I've never seen before, what Spider-Man is as a symbol. I never really thought of Spider-Man as a symbol. I see Superman like that. I see, you know, Batman like that. But Spider-Man is always, for up until this movie, was Peter Parker, you know, and now Miles Morales, and, you know, two dudes or two people who were bitten by spiders. Not a spoiler. And, you know, that was it. But, like, this movie explores the pathos in a way that, like, God, there's a line in the fucking movie that I want to say, but I don't want to say it because the spoilers. It's such a really great line. But like I wasn't like bawling like I wasn't at the end of Logan crying, but I was just like yeah, you're right. And just like, luckily nobody was there, so they didn't see a almost 30-year-old man crying over a cartoon. But like as a I mean, you know, and then also on another level, as a comic fan, to see, like, again, still unsure about the models themselves, but like everything else around them and how everything looked and how the movie would change to dot pitch, which that made me go, oh my God, it's dot. Like, I'm freaking out as a comic fan. There's word balloons, there's thought placements, there's all this little stuff that I know that I've accumulated years of knowledge, and people are seeing it. Like those two combined, seeing my favorite art form combined with one of my favorite characters growing up and making this wonderful movie. Like, even Kingpin's design is from one of my favorite artists. And I like again, it was a religious experience as a comic reader and as a Spider-Man fan. Now, I know that may be a bit hyperbole and but fuck, I want to see it again. Like,
see it in 3D, I'm telling you.
And just admire everything. Like, it made me like say, like, yeah, I love Spider-Man. Like, I love this character. And now, like, I didn't think it was possible to tap into Spider-Man like this before. And this is amazing.
It's a comic book brought to life. Like, a lot of the other movies, they try to make Spider-Man real. You don't need to. Like, it just present the comic book. It's amazing as it is.
And I love that they didn't like beat us over the head with, like, you know, origin stories and just like things that we've already seen before in other Spider-Man movies. They kind of get that stuff right out of the way and be like, hey, this is a whole new story, like, that hasn't been in theaters before.
Yeah, I've read elsewhere that, like, basically a review that said this movie understands this isn't going to be your first experience with Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. So it treats you like a fan, which I think is important.
Right. And, like, I didn't know anything about Miles. Like, I'm a very, like, out of the three of us, I'm obviously the most casual Spider-Man fan here. Mm-hmm. Like, I watched the cartoon and, like, a couple of the cartoons and the movies, but I don't read the comic books, so I don't know a whole lot about the extended universe. Like, I've played a couple of games. I know who 2099 is or whatever, and Spider-Man Noir and all that. But this is my first experience with Miles, and seeing Miles' his story and, like, progression throughout the movie, it just this is like, I have a whole new character that I want to explore and see what's new with him and, like, things that he's going to go through. Like you guys talked about, you cried throughout the movie. I cried multiple times throughout this movie, and I'm not afraid to say it. There's a lot of very, like, touching emotions. Not like, there's, like, really sad scenes and, like, things that make you laugh and stuff, but there's also just, like, really touching emotional moments that hasn't brought out in me in a very long time. Yeah, it's it's one of those movies that just touches you in a weird way, and you're like, I love you.
Yeah. It's perfect. Like, I just keep saying it's perfect.
It's very
the movie
perfect.
Can have flaws and still be perfect.
Right. It's perfect in my eyes, but a couple of the negatives, just so we can talk about some of the negatives, because
yeah,
it's just
we should probably do that for the most part in spoilers, but kind of do like top level.
Okay, so top level, I'll just say the villains of this movie it's not what you're here for. You're not here for the villains, really. You're not here for the plot that's like earth-shattering or whatever. You're here for hanging out with the Spider-Man and exploring what Spider-Man is as a core concept. And after I came out of this movie, I wanted to go and buy that Spider-Man game, and I just wanted to delve more into Spider-Man. And so yeah, I really need to play that game.
Wait, my story play is going to start next year.
Sweet, I'll check that out.
I mean, it's fun to play too. But...
Yeah, exactly. What do you guys think? You have any like negatives on it or these gripes or anything?
I kind of agree about the villains thing. Like, I think the motivation was simple enough that it works. Because you don't want to go too deep into it, because then you take away from the other characters and stuff like that. But like they actually gave Kingpin specifically more depth than I would have expected. Because he's always just kind of like, he's the crime lord. Like, that's...
They also give him more width than I expected.
Yeah. Absolute unit. There was a scene in like the final battle where he's running, and I just turn to my brother and I go, "Oh Lord, he's coming."
There was a scene in the movie where it's just like it's all black and you just see his face and you're like, what the fuck? This guy who takes up the whole screen.
It's he looks like Pugsley from Addams Family.
Oh man.
But like all grown up. Anyway, but I didn't care for a few of the others. Like they didn't really feel fleshed out, and they just kind of felt like they were there for fight scenes, which I'll get into more later. And then we know that Penny Parker is in the movie. Like that's one of the Spider people, and that's the one area where the art style kind of bothered me, because they did a good job of like making the other Spider people kind of feel like they were outside of that universe. Like they had this slightly different art style. Like, Spider-Ham was kind of brighter, but still fit. Penny, like, especially watching it in 3D, she just felt really flat. Like, the character didn't really do much in the story anyway. I think she could have been removed and nothing would have been lost. But also, like, her animations, like, her facial animations and stuff, just felt really flat and out of sync with the rest of the style in a way that the others didn't. Because they like were just unique enough that you could tell they weren't from that universe, but they still blended with the style. Whereas hers just came across, like I said, as flat and like strange. So I don't feel like they blended that well enough, or like made her important enough to the story to justify how out of place she looked in the movie. But that's really it. Like, those are kind of my complaints.
Ben,
very small.
Do you have any criticisms?
I mean, I think the only one is how like breakneck everything was in the movie. Like I occasionally got mood whiplash. Occasionally, a couple, because like it goes from like a very sad, tender moment to all of a sudden, and we're laughing and we're web zooming and it's exciting. Oh, and we're sad again. Like, and now we're scary. Now we're horror. Now we're horror. Now we're horror. And we'll get more on that in the spoiler section. But like, there's a lot of mood whiplash. And I eventually settled into it with the mood. But that would be but even then, it led to a thrilling ride. Especially I had like D-box seats, so like everything would move whenever.
So did I.
So that gave emphasis to it. But like I could see people not liking it because it's just bang, 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 bang. And again, which is fine. I enjoyed it. It took me a while. Like, whoa, okay, we're really moving this fast. I'm not.
That's
used
a comic book, though.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just not used to movies doing that, and I think that's a service to it. But I think if that's my only criticism, that would be it. A part of me thinking going into this movie, I thought it was going to be the fact that, well, you're going to do Miles' origin story, but you're going to shoot in Spider-Verse. There's no way you can balance the two, and somehow they fucking balance the two. Like that, like that's incredible. Like you gave incredible development to this new character while also making this end of the world sequence feel amazing. Also, talk about shit on your first day of the job in the week when that's just your first task. Like Jesus Christ.
Right.
To be fair, in the comics, like a year into being, like not even a year into being Spider-Man, he was dealing with the end of the Ultimate Universe, like the entire end of the world, and he was pretty fresh on it.
No, he had been in Spider-Man for quite some time at that point.
Well, oh yeah, I guess there was a time jump, wasn't there?
Yeah, he had been Spider-Man for quite some time.
Like the Miles stuff is confusing because it moves a little quickly in the comics.
Yeah,
like, he gets his powers when he's like 13.
Yeah,
but then there's like multiple time jumps, and then suddenly like he's shoehorned into the Shield stuff, and then like saving the world, and then the world isn't ended, but like a bunch of people die, and then like
he was
not even a year later the world ends again, and it's like it's a little messy.
Yeah,
so I forget.
Yeah, and a great job of them adapting, like pretty much adapting his origin story.
Yeah,
like
it's a lot closer than the game.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like not everything is the same, obviously, because of certain characters, but like the core idea of what happens and what inspires him to become Spider-Man. If you read the comics, and I guess it's kind of a spoiler, but you read the comics, so you already know. But like that to me was also the most impressive thing. But no negativity really outside of that one. Even then, I settled into it.
Yeah, you talked about the breakneck speed of it. That's one of the things about this movie that I need to buy this like Blu-ray or digitally and just go through it like frame by frame, because there's so many little things in the background that you'll miss on your first watch, and I just like all the small details, like with the animation, like you said, the comic book style, like the thought bubbles and all that. Like there's so many, there's so much of that stuff, and it's not like it's overwhelming. I just want to go through it again and just...
Yeah, I did have one other criticism, and I just thought about it. I just remembered it. Is that certain... And I don't know if this is the case in 3D or not, but certain sequences, like, the camera was badly out of focus for certain things. Like, that's not the primary thing, but if you, like, look to the right a little bit, it was badly out of focus. And I know I wasn't watching in 3D, so it was like... It hurt the shot a little bit. I'm like, what? Why does it look like this? Why do you look so... like unfocused? Like it just that there's not a lot of them, but when they're there, you just can't help but notice them.
Well, that actually is more noticeable in 3D because you can tell when things are in focus because they're round, whereas when they're not, they're flat, which is kind of an interesting comic book thing again. To certain points, especially in the movie, where like it actually kind of pans out to a comic book and you're seeing like multiple panels at once, and then it's like actually depth, like flat depth of field, kind of like a 3DS game. Instead of being full 3D like around the characters and stuff, but that thing of like being out of focus is part of the art style, because it's I forget what it's called. It's like abrasion or something like that. I don't remember, where it's like things are slightly shifted off from each other.
Okay.
And that's like a comic book way of simulating like blur kind of. And so that was the idea. It's like sometimes
it didn't work.
Aberration, that's what it's called.
Yeah, it doesn't work nearly as well on the screen because you're not paying it. You're when you're looking at a comic book panel, even the background, while it's not as focused, it's not a blurry mesh you're looking at least if you're doing it right. Versus here, when you're blowing, it's on a bigger screen, you're gonna notice that even if your eye is mostly focused on the man in the bright red suit.
Yeah. See, I liked it as a choice, but I can see, that part of the art style not working. I get it.
Yeah. Can you guys...
Spoilers?
You want to get into spoilers now?
I just want to jump into the movie.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we're going to get into spoilers now if you don't want to be spoiled on the movie, which I highly recommend you don't get spoiled on the movie. I say go in blind as much as you can, because there's so much in there that if we spoil it, it won't be as surprising. Like, I was genuinely surprised at this film, and it kept coming. Yeah. It wasn't just like, oh, one twist or one turn. It was like it was like not constantly, but it was on a good enough pace that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although if you're a comics fan, like a lot of I know I know. I'm gonna pretend like that gift pretends to be shocked. I'm that person. Right. But it was still good though. Like there are so good reveals, and it was nice. I looked at the audience whenever certain reveals would be like that. I'm like, aha, there it is. Okay, cool.
All right. So you've been warned. Spoiler section starting in 3, 2, 1.
Spider-Man 2099 was pretty cool, and he's voiced by Oscar Isaac.
Oh my god! Are we starting off with that? Because I have not laughed that hard since the Captain America So in the Homecoming, funny enough, it's in the Spider-Man movie. Since the end of that post-credit scene, I have not laughed as hard at a post-credit teaser.
Yeah,
it is too fucking funny.
Right.
Yeah.
My theater clapped and like stood up for that. It was pretty amazing. Yeah. So he goes into Earth 67, which is the Spider-Man series from 1967. It's freaking amazing. Like I wasn't expecting it at all. I didn't expect him to bring that up. Like they brought it up. They brought up like I think they brought up the screen card at the beginning of that show before they get into the song. Like right,
yeah,
he had his own TV show, and then like once they did that, I was like, holy shit! Okay, you guys put in the work. You guys put in the work for this one.
Well, that original Spider-Man in general was just callbacks galore. Because like all of his little bits of like, you know, I saved the world, blah blah blah. All of that was stuff from the old Raimi movies.
Right. Yeah, the first like 10 minutes kind of set the mood for this movie, especially with all like, yeah, it shows all the things that he done in the Raimi movies, and I think Amazing Spider-Man maybe I can't remember. Yeah, he has his own TV show. Like they kind of commercialized Spider-Man. Like this is the Spider-Man.
His Christmas album.
Yeah, his Christmas album. Like the first Spider-Man that you meet is like the perfect version of Spider-Man. He's like rich, or he's got like deals going on, getting money. He's saving the world. He's got
He's married to MJ.
Yeah, he's married to MJ. He's got everything going for him.
He's very confident.
Yep.
And honestly, like Chris Pine was a good Spider-Man.
He was pretty good.
Like I liked his voice as Spider-Man.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know it was Chris Pine. I was like, wow, Nolan North sounds really weird.
Yeah, I didn't
know it was him until the credits.
Yeah. He's also blonde, blue eyes. Yeah, it's great. And then they kill him off.
Yep.
Brutally too, like Jesus.
He's like, don't worry, Miles, I'll teach you how to be Spider-Man. Dies. Oh my god.
Why'd I get stuck with the janky hobo Spider-Man?
Right? I love that contrast though between like perfect Spider-Man and then like homeless Spider-Man or
actual Spider-Man.
Yeah, actual Spider-Man. Right. Yeah.
And I loved all the little like, okay, let's go back to the beginning one more time, and like you get the origin of each character,
right?
Which tied into that end credits scene of we're gonna go back to the beginning one more time, and then it's 67 Spider-Man. It's like perfect way to end that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's freaking awesome.
While also setting stuff up for the future, because having 2099 with his like dimensional hopping wrist bracelet is definitely going to come into play with the sequel.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like it was a joke, but it was also set up.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, they're definitely making more of these. I think they said the next one's going to be Spider-Gwen.
Well, there's two.
Okay.
There's an actual sequel. I guess it's going to be more focused on Miles and Gwen. Like not so much the larger Spider-Verse stuff, just those two, and then probably some others, you know, smattering in. I would assume 2099 would be in there too, because you don't waste Oscar Isaac like that. But then there's also going to be a spinoff with Spider-Gwen, Silk, and Spider-Woman.
Cool. I didn't expect Miles' uncle to be the the bad guy.
The Prowler.
The Prowler.
Oh yeah, that's one of those comic moments. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff like I wasn't expecting. I didn't expect Miles' other powers like invisibility and lightning or whatever. Like
that's what I love about him. He's different.
Yeah, he's got different powers.
He's not really much of a fighter. He's more fight or flight.
What'd you guys think of when Nick Cage voiced
it was so perfect. Like that whole introduction of like he's like, why is everything black and white? Where's the wind come from? Wherever I am, the wind follows. I'm like that's noir as fuck. Like Nick Cage hamming it up. I love it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Sometimes I watch matches burn down to the tip just to feel something. Oh.
He's like honestly, I would legit pay good money to have a noir film with Nick Cage. Like Night of Spider-Man noir. I would pay money for that. Oh, he's so good.
Yeah,
I loved his Rubik's Cube thing.
Oh yeah, just
I don't understand it, but I will.
Is it purple? No.
He's just trying to figure out what colors are.
Oh my god.
But in the end, he gets it. Even if he has an arc.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I love the interactions between him and Spider-Ham. Because you have like the super serious guy and then the cartoon character just bouncing off each other. It's so good.
Spider-Ham, by the way, a spider bitten by a radioactive
pig.
okay.
Yeah, that's underplayed a little bit in the movie, which makes me sad.
Yeah, it's an afterthought. You have to really pay attention because you're gonna go, wait, hold on, wait a minute, hold up, pause the movie. He just
They kind of emphasize it because they're like, I was bit by a radioactive spider, and then like he's the last one to say his thing.
Yeah,
but then they just move on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those like, wait, hold on. He just we're walking and we're walking.
Yeah.
But the funny, I love that when he says at the end, that'll be all, folks, and like you can hear the fat old Spider-Man going, "Can he legally say that?" Like I don't know, like just like barely. I'm like, that's great. That's good fourth wall breaking.
And then right
there
after,
was a lot of cool throwaway lines like that.
Yeah, like right after they say that line, there's a water tower that pops up after that. From the
I didn't see that.
I didn't either. I saw it twice and I didn't see that. That's funny.
See, there's things that you're gonna miss in this that are just awesome. Like it's
one of my favorite like little bits, aside from just like all of the the on-screen text. Like when the glass breaks when Miles is hiding, and it's like the spider sense is going off and it's all colorful and stuff, and then like big text comes on the screen like behind him in the glass as it breaks. But one of my favorite bits like that was when they're running away from the facility, and he throws the bagel, and it hits the guy and says "bagel" on screen. Yeah, like the sound effect is bagel.
It's hilarious. Yeah, I love that.
Oh yeah.
They had
I love when they were escaping the evil scientist place. I can't think of the name right now. And like they're trying to like sneak through, and they're like, "Hey, that guy stole a bagel. Get him!" And like that's the reason why they're after them, not because they stole the hard drive, because they stole the bagel.
And all the doctors have guns.
Oh yeah, of course, all the evil scientists have evil gigantic guns.
But that was back to the kind of section before. That was one of my complaints. Was like I liked that they subverted expectations with Doc Ock, but I hated her creepy like rubbery tentacle things.
Makes sense, but it's weird.
We joked that like she should have specifically gone after Penny, and it becomes like a creepy like Japanese porno.
Oh no,
with the tentacles and
maybe Doc Ock is into that in this universe.
People are sexualizing Spider-Gwen, and here you are with the lowly.
Hey, I'm just saying, you don't introduce a character with tentacles like that and a little Japanese girl and not combine them.
Wow.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting her to be like a villain at all, and then she turned out to be Doc Ock, and only her enemies call her that.
That was a good moment, but it felt like one of those where it's like, okay, we're gonna have Doc Ock in this universe, but it's a girl. Like I don't know if that's the character or if they just gender swapped it because.
Yeah, they had a couple other things. Like they had Scorpion, I think, was like a
Scorpion and Tombstone.
Was a Mexican.
Yeah, Tombstone was just wasted.
He
had one line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like, hey, it's Tombstone.
Yeah.
I mean, Tombstone's not anything. He's just kind of just a minor villain.
It's just nice to see him. He shows up, and you're like, oh, hi.
Yeah, but Hispanic Scorpion is straight from the Ultimate Universe. He's one of the first villains Miles ever encountered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome, actually. That was one thing I respected a lot, was the bilingual nature of the movie.
Yeah.
Because his mom regularly spoke Spanish. Like, his sentences without, subtitles or anything. And then they had the Spanish Scorpion that had, like, the text boxes.
Translated to Spanish. Like, I was like, I love that. Like, that's such a good comics do. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
But real talk, though, like, I love the fact that Miles's mom was actually, because in the comics they never really played up the fact that her ethnicity, which was never a problem to me, but I like that this one, like, you can tell she's verbally Hispanic, which, by the way, like, one thing that I wish this movie changed, though, is like, why did they name Miles Morales' father Jefferson Davis? If you don't, that name doesn't sound familiar. It's the same name of the president, the one-time president of the Confederate States of America. Like, why would you do that? And his name is Jefferson Davis in the movie. Wow. They could have changed it.
I mean, his name is Jefferson Davis, like in the comics. They made that mistake 7 years ago.
Yeah, they could have changed it for this movie, and it would have been awesome. I was just like, why would you do that?
It's in the game too.
Oh my god, it's just unfortunate. They never say his name together. But I love. Oh, by the way, one of the moments that made me cry though was that moment when after he discovers.
Yeah.
Well, I won't. Well, I'll say something.
Through the door.
Oh my god, that was such a powerful moment. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's just trying to talk to his son that your uncle. This is what happened to your uncle, and Miles obviously knows. but it's just a father trying to connect with his son. Like, oh my God, you know, but understanding like, okay, I need to have him let him his space. It was like I wanted more of them, honestly, more of Miles and his dad, just you know that reluctant, you know, like say I love you, say it. That it reminded me of my dad, you know. It was great. I love Miles' dad. I actually thought he was gonna die. I'm like, please don't kill him.
Yeah, I thought so too for some reason.
Well, that was actually kind of surprising, because like I didn't expect his uncle to die in this one. Like you get Mahershala Ali, who's a big name, and he didn't speak that much when you think about it. No. And the Prowler is one of Miles's biggest like rogues gallery foes, and they just kill him off in this first movie. It was kind of surprising.
Multiverse.
True.
I mean, that's all I'll say. They could easily bring a Prowler in from another universe.
But the Prowler in other universes isn't Aaron Davis.
Well, it's not his uncle.
It could be, though. I'm just saying, there's an infinite number of them, so.
True. Because the whole, like, Prowler was like a nothing villain from, like, the 90s or whatever. And they, like, turned him into something legit.
Yeah, he looked like Spawn. I'm not gonna lie, certain. By the way, that whole section of the movie was terrifying. Like it sounded like an animal was roaring. Oh my God! Like and like I swear to God, and this isn't like negative or anything, but I loved how he looked like Spawn. Like it was very Spawn influence. I'm like, oh my God, it looks so cool.
But he also kind of looked like Homestar Runner, or no, Strong Bad, I guess is the character.
Yeah, that's what you're
like. The way his face was kind of like all up at the top was kind of goofy.
I don't get it, but I know what you're talking about. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
What else? Oh yeah,
I was confused the first time I watched. Sorry, I was confused the first time I watched it because Miles was like in a room, like writing a note to his uncle, and then you know the uncle as Prowler comes in and like sniffs out this kid, but doesn't know it's his nephew. And I was like, how does he not like? He's in Miles's room right now. I didn't realize that was Aaron's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bigger.
The second time, it's like they don't really like show the room that much.
He goes in through the window.
I understood. I mean,
he goes in through the window of his dorm and his room also.
Yeah, but also it's way bigger, and also there's the couch from before and the TV and everything. I don't know.
Okay, but it was dark.
Okay, no,
and they're all just generic like big brick rooms.
I'll give you a pass, but I thought it was pretty obvious.
Pay attention. So be on the quiz.
I love the ending of it when he was talking to his dad as Spider-Man.
Yeah,
so great.
He's acting voice.
He deepens his voice, acts like real black.
And he's like, "I love you." And swings away.
Hugs him really hard for really long.
Yeah. And then Fisk has like a spray painted Spider-Man. Like, how do you not figure out that this is your son?
Yeah.
That whole segment of Peter and fat Peter Parker swinging through the trees as he's like, training, you gotta learn by life in this situation, just back and forth. Like that section was so great.
Thwip.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, the thwips on screen.
Yeah.
Actually, I preferred like it wasn't as good like as a bonding moment, but like from a humor and like scene staging standpoint, I preferred the train sequence.
Oh, that was great. That was just good slapstick right there.
That's when I was crying from laughter.
Did you guys want to talk about the suit that he wore throughout most of this movie and Stan Lee?
Yeah, that's when I first cried because I knew he was in it, and then the second I saw him, like tear, and then it's what he says when Miles says, "Can I return it?" He's like, "It always fits." And like that, and like we haven't said it because I said when we were talking about this world, the whole fucking message of this movie, and I love it, and it's so fucking beautiful, is that anyone can be Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone, even you, and like Stan like pointing at the camera. Now there was a little bit of a joke at the end of it, where it's like no sales returns ever, because that's how Stan would want it to be.
Yeah.
But like, and even then at the end of the movie, where like it had a quote from Stan Lee, you know, like I put the mask so like anybody can relate to Spider-Man, and that thank you to Stan and Stan and Steve Ditko. Stanley and Steve Ditko for creating this, like to you know anybody can be Spider-Man, and with Miles Morales it's even more reassuring. It's such a beautiful message.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about with his hero moment at the end. Like, yeah, the part where he like first shows his suit and it's kind of like zipping around around the city, and like it was what was in all the trailers at night, and he like drops off the building, and like that was super cool and it made me happy. But it was actually like the last part where he's doing his monologue, and he's like, for the last 2 days I've been the only Spider-Man, and like that monologue at the end, that's what I'm just like, this is perfect. And I think he says something like about like you don't have to have superpowers to be a hero. Anyone can wear the suit or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it got me pretty emotional.
Yeah, I'm with Ben. Like, I didn't really thought of Spider-Man as like anyone can be the hero, because I thought that stuff with like Batman, Superman, that kind of stuff. But I never thought about it with Spider-Man. This really put a whole new perspective on the character for me, and that's what I can really say is like, how many years later we're still finding new ways to bring Spider-Man in new lessons to people. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And tell these stories. And I loved when like they first meet and he tries to quote Uncle Ben to Peter.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Don't you finish that sentence. You don't get to finish that." Like,
yeah,
it's so perfect.
It's great.
Yeah. By the way, if I do have a criticism, so it's a little bit weird, but like when he first meets, when they take Peter, which I don't know why they thought it was a good idea, but it turned out okay. They took the Spider-Gwen and Peter to that universe's Peter Parker's house. I was like, this is a bad idea. This is bad. And I legit cried because, like, again, if you miss it, like older Peter Parker references, I buried Aunt May.
Yep.
So it's like, not only is Aunt May seeing her, surrogate son back from the dead, quote unquote, back from the dead, he's seeing Aunt May again. And like, that to me should have been a bigger moment. And it
I agree.
Kind of gets glossed over. Like,
yeah.
And that's because this Aunt May is the Ultimate Universe Aunt May, the I don't take shit from anybody Aunt May, So like she's just used to it, and maybe that's okay. But like I felt like there should have been a hug moment. There should have been a slow down moment between the two of them.
Yeah.
Of like yeah, you're not my Peter Parker, you're not my Aunt May, but fuck, let's hug, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of like the fact that the movie just moved a little quickly. So a lot of those little character moments were just like on the fly. Like one point in like the middle of a battle when Peter was giving Miles some advice, and then just a quick throwaway line of, "Wait, do I want kids?"
Yeah.
And like the battle continues on. It's like that was like a character moment, but it was just a throwaway line in the middle of battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, seeing sad Peter Parker's life, just like how he gets divorced. When he got divorced with Andrew, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And then like him butt up in his danky ass apartment, getting the fact that they made him fat. And they kept pointing out his fat. I'm just like, yep.
It's a dimensional, whatever.
Oh yeah, I was way thinner before I.
Just this great joke, like great fat jokes, like not old fat, but great new fat jokes. I love that. Yeah. Oh my god.
We're a different shape than the other Spider-Man. Just call me fat.
It's like, are those sweatpants? Yes, they are.
I love that his suit was just like half Spider-Man and then like half sweatpants.
It was so great. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Also, were you all weirded out when like Doc Ock started seducing him?
Yeah, that was weird.
I was like, what are you doing? Like, are you gonna cut him up, or are you gonna cut him up? Like, what are you doing?
Well, he was seducing her,
yeah,
and she was just fascinated that he was alive and wanted to study him.
Yeah.
But I loved his seductions. He's like leaned up against there. He's like, "Hey," like snapped.
Speaking of that,
hey,
that fucking moment where like again it goes like you had that moment of Uncle Aaron teaching him how to be how to talk to women, and it ends with fucking Miles putting his hand on Fisk and going, "Hey," and shocking the shit at him. I'm just like, that's such a fucking great callback. That was a great way to fight, dude.
Right.
Especially when you combine, like, it's a joke in the moment, but you have to think it's combined with Aaron, like, while he's dying, saying, "I just wanted you to be better than me."
Yeah,
and he really actually uses his advice to save the day. Yeah. So it kind of does make it, like, because of Aaron, it made him better.
Yeah.
So it's a joke, but it's also actually a really good character moment.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah. This is a great movie.
I want to see it again now.
Yeah,
third time.
I probably won't see it again in theater. If I have time to see it in 3D, I will.
Yeah, I will see it.
But I'll definitely buy. I don't buy a lot of Blu-rays, Nowadays, it's mostly superhero stuff, but this will definitely be one of them when it comes out.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's beautiful on multiple levels. That's the great thing about it. Like, you can like it from a Miles standpoint, you can like it from Peter Parker's standpoint, you can like it from an artistic standpoint, or if like you're one of us, you happen to like it on all those levels, and it just the film, the strength of the film just grows that much further. It's such a masterpiece, and it is a love letter to Spider-Man. Like, if you're a Spider-Man fan and maybe you haven't had time, but make time. Take your family out to see this for Christmas, because this is a great movie.
Yeah, it's a good family movie.
You know, granted, your little ones might be scared during the Prowler section, but you know, they'll get over it. We were all
and the Goblin section at the beginning.
That would
it's pretty scary too.
The Goblin,
but the Green Goblin. Oh, yeah, that's another thing I love. I love how it was a combination of the freakish Ultimate design, but he had the fucking goofy, stupid hat on. I love that. And he had pumpkin bombs. Like, yes, give me that.
But I love the monstrous Ultimate version. Like, I love the Ultimate version. I miss it. I miss the Ultimate Universe.
You miss Hulk Goblin? That's what you miss? But yeah. I love this version. It was so clean. And I love even like Fisk, right? Like, he was doing this to get his wife and kid back.
Oh yeah, we didn't get back to that.
Yeah. That was the whole motivation, and it's something you could believe. And then, you know, no matter what the universe is, they're going to be discussed about what he does, because he found himself in the same scenario of beating the shit out of Spider-Man, and his kid, and his or alternate versions of his kid and his wife are like, "What are you doing? No."
That's one of those other, like, they moved quickly, but they took the time for those moments, because like it was really just the one scene of motivation for him when he's clicking a pin, and every click shows like a slideshow of his life falling apart and blaming Spider-Man for it, and it's like, it's not much, but it's so effective, and it makes you understand what he's doing. That's all you need. You don't need like monologues of exposition. You just need a really strong scene,
and that's what the best comic books do as well.
Yeah, that definitely felt like a comic, because it's like I could see every panel being a click, like, you know, a little click on screen, and then it's like panel, click, panel, click, panel. It was great. A few small notes, because like outside of the movie, but just kind of related to the movie. I was bored today, so I read up on some of the more recent Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen stuff. Because I have the physical version of the Spider-Verse comic, but I hadn't actually read any of the Miles stuff since he got to the 616 universe. So I found the first trade of that, I think it's like first 5 issues or something. And it's really interesting, because there's he immediately gets caught up in an Avengers plot, and like he grabs like the Captain America shield and stuff like that. Like, it's a lot bigger. I don't really like it. I miss when it was just like, you know, Miles doing his thing in Brooklyn. But there's a really cool moment where his suit gets a little torn, and like a rabid fan on the internet like zooms in to the video that she took of the fight scene, and notices that underneath the suit his skin is brown, and she's like, I don't know if he's black or Indian or Hispanic or what, but Spider-Man is a person of color now. We have representation in our superheroes. Like, it's so exciting. And he's like getting legitimately mad at this. And Genki's like, what's the problem? Like, she's just excited that, like, you know, that you're not another white superhero. And he's like, yeah, but I don't want to be the black Spider-Man. I just want to be Spider-Man. And it's just kind of one of those really cool moments. Like, it's like a one kind of page of panels that's just like him mad that he's being called the black Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way to explain Miles as a character. Because he is more than just like the mixed ethnicity that everyone advertised him as when they started. Like, he has his own power set. He has his own, origin. He's not a Peter Parker clone or anything. He's a totally original character that just also happens to be Spider-Man. And I think this movie goes a long way to explain him as a character, and not just as that half black, half Mexican guy that got bit by a spider. Because you see all the other spider people, and they're pretty similar. And then he's over there going invisible and venom shocking people. And it's like, oh, right, he's actually so much different. And even Peter's surprised by his abilities. And And then I was also reading some of the Spider-Gwen stuff, and I didn't like that as much. It was like the first 6 issues of her solo run after Spider-Verse. And it's very much, she's like kind of down on herself because she killed Peter Parker, who was Lizard. The movie goes into all this stuff. That's why I'm going into it now. But she has kind of a really neat moment of basically saying that like she wears the mask as a symbol. So like very few people know her identity or anything because they just need to see that there's a spider person out there, you know, like someone that's saving the day. She's a vigilante at this point because like she was like Spider-Woman as a hero or whatever was framed for the murder of Peter Parker. Because they didn't know anything about the Lizard or whatever. They just came into the crime scene and saw her over his body. Similar to how it was with Miles and Aaron at first. But basically she says like, you know, I hide my identity as a symbol. And so it's like, that came out a few years before this movie did, and it kind of established that same tone, which is weird to think about because like you said, you didn't think about that for Spider-Man. But that's actually been kind of a recurring theme in this larger like Spider-Verse. Now that there are other Spider-Men, that's not just Peter. That they've kind of taken on the Spider mantle as a symbol. So I think it's neat that that's kind of been a recurring theme coming up.
Yeah. So yeah, let's close out the show. Closing thoughts. We'll start with Justin, I guess.
I mean, that pretty much was my closing thoughts.
Okay,
like,
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it's a perfect movie. Like, I love Miles. I want more. But I've said my piece.
Cool. And Ben.
Religious experience. That's like I entered expecting nothing, and what I got was something more, and an appreciation for a character that I love for almost all of my life, and it's taking on a new appreciation. This movie transcends just a simple animated movie about Spider-Man. You want to tell people, well, what does Spider-Man mean? What, at the core essence, what is Spider-Man? What is Spider-Man? You hand them this movie. Despite all its insane nuttiness and craziness and multiverses and, you know, radioactive spiders bitten by radioactive pigs, you know, at the end of the day, you'll know what Spider-Man is, and that's why I love this.
I think it was just a normal spider bitten by a radioactive pig.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Normal spider bitten by a radioactive pig who has a cartoon hammer that can fold in your pocket. Yeah, but go see this movie. Go own this movie. Go share. Go again. I'm gonna say it again. Take your family to Christmas. Fuck Christmas ham. Screw Christmas ham. Go.
It's a holiday movie.
Yeah, it's in the winter.
Yeah.
It's in the winter. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna cry. You're gonna get scared. Fuck you. By the way, hold on, real quick. Fuck you, movie people, for making that jump scare at the spider. Fuck you for making that spider so damn creepy. That was unnerving. I didn't need that.
It was hilarious though.
No, I legit got scared. I'm like, okay, no more.
No, like the fact that it looks super scary and like zooms into his skin, and it just comes out and he's like,
no, I'm talking about when he goes back to find the spider. He's like, it's just a normal spider, and then and then there's that shake because of the fight with Goblin. I'm like, fuck you, don't do that shit again. You know, like that was.
Oh yeah, that is one thing. Like as just part of my final thoughts, real quick. I noticed that spider glitched, which means that it wasn't from this Earth.
It wasn't. No.
No, it's
so
not.
I wonder if that's going to come back, if like where that spider came from. Because I would assume it was from the future, like the 2099 universe.
It's got the same colors, doesn't it?
Yeah, the 42, the Alchemex, like all of that is from 2099. So I feel like that's like laying groundwork that they didn't really touch on.
Crazy.
That the spider glitched. That's all.
And my closing thoughts is that I said it before. This movie made me want to go and explore other avenues of all these different spider people and want to play the game, and I really want a Miles Morales game now for the next Spider-Man one. I think that would be absolutely amazing. I love his
Spider-Man
style.
2 on PS4. Do it, you cowards.
Yeah, I love his style. I love his suit. Looks awesome. I'm going to see this movie again. I'm going to take Justin's opinion and go see it in 3D. I haven't seen it in 3D, so I'm going to go do that.
That's religious experience. I'm telling you.
So yeah, that's my closing thoughts. Justin, where can the people find you?
They can find me at the dentist, hopefully. No, sorry, I've been like nursing a really painful tongue and tooth this whole
Go drink
show.
Some more whiskey.
So sorry if I sound funky.
Numb it down.
Yeah, right. I've already had ibuprofen and whiskey, so we'll see how I do tonight. Anyway, you can find me if you look up Zero Score on Twitter or YouTube, and also Zero Score Gaming on Twitch.
And Ben.
Twitter.com/MarvelousIggy, where hopefully you'll find more Spider-Man stuff from me.
All right, cool. And you can find me, your host, Thomas, on Twitter, CSG Thomas on Twitter. You can also email me, thomas@chargeshot.com, and also visit our website for all of our audio, video, and written content. And until then, guys, thwip, thwip.
Thwip, thwip.
Awesome.
I'm glad you liked it, Ben. Even if you did mess with us for a little while.